This is our hot topic of the hour. It's something I just mentioned to you at the top of the show. President Trump says that Fed Governor Lisa Cook has been relieved of her position on the Fed board over rising allegations of mortgage fraud. He posted the letter that he sent her on Truth Social outlining her firing, saying, quote, "The American people must be able to have full confidence in the honesty of the members overseeing the Federal Reserve. In light of your deceitful and potentially criminal conduct in a financial matter, they cannot and I do not have such confidence in your integrity." Now, Cook refusing to resign, reportedly saying this: President Trump reported to fire me for cause when no cause exists under the law, and he has no authority to do so. I will not resign. I will continue to carry out my duties to help the American economy as I have been doing since 2022. U.S. Federal Housing Director Bill Pulte, who has been on this case since day one, thanking the president for his actions, he said on X, "If you commit mortgage fraud in America, we will come after you, no matter who you are." Pulte also spoke with Maria last week on this program, who laid out Cook's situation.
Lisa Cook has big problems. They're going to continue to get bigger. It's very odd to see people try to twist backways, sideways, and upside down to justify mortgage fraud. This is a very serious crime. I believe the president has ample cause to fire Lisa Cook. We will go where mortgage fraud is. If mortgage fraud is with a Republican or a Democrat, it doesn't matter. If you commit mortgage fraud in President Trump's America, we're going to come after you. And Lisa Cook is no exception to that. In her case, she had a home in Michigan, and then 2 weeks later, she gets a loan in Michigan for her home. She declares it as her primary principal residence, and then literally 2 weeks later, she goes to an Atlanta condo, buys an Atlanta condo, secures a loan, and also declares that as her primary residence.
Okay, so to be here clear, Mitch, so the allegations of mortgage fraud, Bill Pulte has referred this to the DOJ and Pam Bondi. So Cook is under investigation. However, there is no decision there and charges have not been filed. The question now becomes the legal term under the law that governs the Federal Reserve. And that is where it's a little murky. This is unprecedented. We've never had a president, quote, fire a Federal Reserve Board governor in our nation's history. What do you make of this?
Well, there's a presumption of innocence out there, you know, in general. That's the way our country was founded. Having said that, she is a governor of the Federal Reserve Bank. The Federal Reserve Bank, amongst other things, is responsible for oversight of our entire financial system. And here you have an individual who said that Michigan and Atlanta, Georgia are both her principal residents. It could be a clerical oversight, give her the benefit of the doubt, but it doesn't look good, it doesn't smell good. And this is part of a pattern. We saw this with Senator Adam Schiff, and there are others, that, you know, people who are in a position of authority, like senators, like Fed governors, should not be making these kinds of mistakes. It's not a good look. But if it wasn't for the president's harsh criticism of the Fed and Jerome Powell and their decision-making prowess regarding interest rates and other things, this probably wouldn't be as hot of a political issue.
Well, Michael, so Trump cited Article 2 of the Constitution and the Federal Reserve Act of 1913 to say that she had been fired effective immediately. Now, she's hired Abby Lowell, and they are working on her behalf. And the firm says they are planning to take whatever actions are needed to prevent this attempted illegal action by President Trump. Look, I mean, under the Federal Reserve Act, the president can fire again, and I said this twice now, for cause. The question is the legality of this, and we've never been here legally before. And so, if you look at quotes by some of the legal scholars that are out there, Columbia's Catherine Judge, Fed scholar Peter Conti Brown, no clean precedent for this. It's typically an on-the-job type of misconduct. So I'm kind of jumping ahead to the legal fight that it looks like this is about to begin or has begun as of last night.
You got to wonder what's going through her head. Like, where does this go? You know, and how effective can she be? And when the president of the United States sits there and says, "We don't need you anymore. Don't participate in this." And there's a legal battle coming up. We know it's going to happen. But in her current position, she's got no future here. You know, let's say they say, "Oh, it really wasn't there." No, she'll be tainted with this. And it really is, as you said, Mitch, this is you have to be holier than thou if you're in these types of authoritative positions. Because otherwise, the person who's applying for mortgages, they may not have confidence and faith in the system itself if you don't really regulate it this way. So now it's Trump saying, nope, we're going to draw the line right now. No more mortgage fraud, and we're going to go after you. Okay, it's got to begin from the top.
Well, and also, too, Mitch, you know, the overall makeup of the board right now, just to be clear, she's only 2 years into a 14-year term. So obviously she's going to fight this, and she's hired Abby Lowell. On the other side of this is the fact that if she does go, that gives the president another opportunity to appoint another Fed governor that might be more willing to have an open ear to the fact that interest rates likely need to be lowered. Let's be clear here. The market's expecting a cut in September. Fair enough. At the same time, though, you know, this would give him another opportunity to make sure. The question is the Fed's independence. And I think that's where you're going to get a lot of spirited discussion today about that.
But what's interesting is the Fed's independence is a cornerstone of our financial system. However, the president does have the opportunity to appoint governors to the Fed. So the question is, if he can appoint, can he remove? And that's what will be flushed out in the court. But, you know, the fact that you have such a potentially heinous crime here, and I'm using the word crime carefully.
And these are alleged crimes. This is all alleged, and that's why there's an investigation underway.
Correct.
She has not been charged with anything.
But it has to do with a mortgage.
Right.
And you don't have to look too far in the rearview mirror to remember how mortgage problems and fraud took down not just our financial system, but the global financial system. Again, it's a terrible look. I agree with you, Michael. This is going to be something that taints her. But I think the president's feud is with Powell, and it's expanding.